Hey Deb, I have a question for you. I am in the 22 to 27 age group in a new relationship with a 30-year-old man. I've been casually dating this guy for about 2 months now. He tells me a couple weeks ago that I look completely different without makeup and that if he saw a pic of me without it first, he wouldn't have considered dating me. Then he said even though I look completely different with makeup, he loves my personality and he's attracted to me, even though I'm the first voluptuous woman he's ever dated. Was also told tonight that he probably wouldn't be intimate with me if I didn't have makeup on. That one really hurt. I'm trying to not make this a big deal. In my heart I know I deserve much better and I know I have bad blemishes and melasma on my face, but I also know I'm not horrible to look at. I understand if someone is not attracted to you, that is not their fault, but I also don't understand why he keeps wanting to be with me. Am I making this into something it's not?
Okay, this is my take on it. I feel like, as a young lady, if you hear this kind of thing from a guy, you should immediately dump him. This guy is using a negative and toxic communication style designed to emotionally manipulate you into feeling bad about yourself. The term that's being popularized right now is called negging, but it's nothing new. It's been around for a long time. It's a communication style used by guys who are themselves a sufferer of low self-esteem. So what they want to do is bring you down a notch or two off the pedestal that they think that you have yourself on. Because he has such low self-esteem, he wants you to feel as bad or worse about yourself as he does about himself. So by saying these things that he said to you, I'm sitting here shaking my head in disbelief. He's basically he gives you a compliment, right? But it's followed by some low key negative statement. And in your case, it was followed by 3 low key negative statements, and all designed to get you to question yourself, doubt yourself, to have some negative self esteem, a net hit on your self esteem and confidence, and to feel bad about yourself. Basically, he wants you to feel vulnerable and weak and less secure about yourself so that he and then can position himself to be more attractive. Basically, what these kind of dudes do, they don't want to do work to really pump themselves up and be the kind of man that you would be attracted to. What they want to do is get you in a position where you feel like you're dependent upon his approval for your definition of who you are and your self-esteem. And I know that sounds crazy, but I have heard a lot of young girls say, he gives me my self-esteem. That's basically the kind of setup that this guy is trying to put you in. He wants you to depend on his approval so that you are seeking, you're going to do things that he wants you to do. He wants to make sure that you are weak, that you feel vulnerable, and that you appreciate and thank him for giving you some little rat dropping kind of compliment that doesn't really mean anything. I remember reading this report that was saying that men see women who have low self-esteem or lowered self-esteem as being more attractive. And I think because it puts them in a position of power over the woman where they have the ability by what they say or do to make her feel good or bad about herself. That's why I always have told you guys time and time again that you don't let any man have that kind of power over you. Whether he says something good about you, you still feel the same way about yourself. If he says something negative, you still feel the same way about yourself. You don't let some man puff you up with compliments, because once you let him know that he can inflate you with his compliments, he knows that he has the power to deflate you anytime he wants to. And as far as this kind of stuff goes, I remember when I was writing my book, The Black Church, and I went out with this dude, met him out for lunch, and he, starts picking my book apart. It wasn't even finished yet. It was still in the draft form. And I got up, I snatched my book out of his hand, and I got up and I told him, I didn't ask for your opinion. I don't really care to hear it. And he's like, well, I don't know anybody who has problems like that in church. This clown hadn't set foot in the church in 50 years. And I said, well, that little hovel that you live in the hood, you most likely don't know anybody that would do this because they don't even go to church. They go to prison. And then I got up and I got my stuff and I walked out. So, that's the kind of stuff that I think more women have to have. I'm not saying you have to be as vicious as me about it, but I'm saying you have to be able, when some guy starts trying to crack on you and bring you down like that, you have to be in a position where you can fire back. You have to, as soon as you meet a guy and he's thinking he's going to be in positioning himself to put himself in charge of your self-esteem and self-confidence, you look at him and you figure out what it is that he's vulnerable about. And so when he tries that crap, you flip the script on him and you fire back. So like he says, well, you're the the biggest woman that I've ever dated. I said, well, you the littlest deed motherfucker that I ever dated. So I guess that makes us even, doesn't it? Things like that. You just fire back. He want to crack on you, you crack on him back. You don't let some man talk to you like that. So in your case, since you're just casually dating this guy, you guys don't really have any kind of serious commitment or anything like that, your best bet is to get out of this now. He's already shown you what kind of man he is, and he's nothing nice. This kind of guy is just going to pick at you and pick at you and pick at you until there's a shell of you left. That's what they do. And like I said earlier, it's not because he necessarily wants to hurt you directly. What he's trying to do is weaken you so that whatever he wants you to do, you'll be more amenable to, because you have placed yourself in a position of seeking his approval, and it's just going to go downhill from there. This is unfortunately a toxic relationship dynamic that is very popular these days. They even teach it in some of these online groups that really are rather misogynistic and don't really like women too much. So it's something that I think we'll see more of as women become more aware of it. They'll be in a better position to recognize it and get rid of the guy sooner rather than later. But once again, the main thing is, if you have a strong sense of yourself as a woman, as a person, you don't let anybody, male or female, attack you like this. There's nothing in this world that is so grand, great, and wonderful about him that you should tolerate that. Okay? So even if you don't want to fire back at him, you say, well, I can see what kind of person you are. I'm going to chuck up the deuces and I'm out. That's what you do, okay? But thank you for writing. I'm hoping that this is very helpful to you and other young ladies in your age group and younger that are listening. These kind of guys are poison for women. They're just jealous of you. That's the bottom line. They feel like you're better than them, and they just want to knock you off that pedestal, knock you down a few pegs, and have you feeling really bad, doubting and questioning yourself. Don't let them do it, okay? This is Deb Cooper. You guys hit that like and subscription button before you jump out of here, and I'll see you tomorrow with the next video.